18 Ks over 7 scoreless. Madison Bumgarner homered and doubled, struck out 14, and pitched a complete Game 3 hitter. Giants swept the Nationals 5-zip. Dodgers doubled up the Reds 2-1. Zach Greinke fanned 8 over 7 innings for his 13th win and also hit a solo shot. Marlins clipped the Cardinals 6-4. Pirates completed the first season sweep of the Mets 8-1. Braves beat the D-backs 2-1-10. Brewers blasted the Phillies 6-1. The Rockies blanked the Padres 5-0. Jose Bautista hit a 2-run shot. Blue Jays beat the Yankees 3-1. Jose Altuve's walk-off RBI single lifted the Astros past the Tigers 6-5. Orioles used a 26-hit attack. They routed the A's 18-2. Rangers beat the Rays 5-3. Twins topped the Tribe 4-1. And the Mariners put up 2 in the 12th to beat Boston 10-8. NFL preseason, Tim Tebow made his return.
This is going in. Touchdown. Tim Tebow finds the pylon and gets into the end zone in his first game as an Eagle.
He received a standing ovation, ran for that score in his Eagles debut. They crushed the Colts 36-10. Pole sitter Matt Kenseth led 146 of 200 laps to capture the NASCAR Sprint Cup race at Michigan. We're brought to you by AutoZone. From parts to helpful advice, AutoZone has everything you need to get in the zone. AutoZone. I'm Dave Joseph, NBC Sports Radio.
This is KCAA.
Consider this your invitation to sell. At buysellmakeoffer.com, you can sell as much as you want for the next 60 days without paying any fees whatsoever. Sound incredible? It is, and it's true. Buysellmakeoffer.com is the new exciting way to sell your stuff online. Make extra money right now. Sell your old car, furniture, video games, household items, clothes, even your home. Sell anything that's legal. Load up your stuff to sell right now at buysellmakeoffer.com. This is your official invitation to get on board to sell your stuff right now. Free for the next 60 days. And once you see how easy it is, you'll want to sign up for more because there are no item fees. That's right. Take this opportunity to move items from the other guys and sell it for free. You might even win a Samsung tablet, Amazon gift cards, and other cool prizes. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the future of online selling. You can use Skype to talk to your buyer or seller. Plus, you can use video to showcase your items. BuySellMakeOffer.com.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm AJ Lytle. It's sunny this afternoon with high temperatures near 104 and west winds gusting up to 20. Tonight's mostly clear, low around 71. Winds will be out of the west, shifting to the south after midnight. We'll see gusts as high as 20 overnight. And it's going to be sunny to kick off the work week tomorrow, high near 97 for our Monday. Expect light and variable winds to shift to the west and gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. For our Monday evening, mostly clear, low around 65. West winds gusting up to 20 and sunny skies for our Tuesday. High temperatures topping out near 90. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind. NBC News Radio, AM 1050, KCAA.
Are you a fan of all things entertainment? Do you love talking about your favorite celebrities and those can't-miss movies? Do you have a passion for some of your favorite TV shows and music? Hey, this is Brad Dalius, host of The Beat Pod Show. Tune in each week for topics like these and more, as I'll get you caught up on all the latest entertainment news direct from Hollywood. We'll check in on the box office and talk about new movie releases for when you head out to the theaters. Every week, I'll also interview the stars themselves, providing you access to the people you want to hear from and to give you an inside look into their busy lives. From up-and-coming talent to some of the biggest headliners of our day, we'll cover them all each and every week. So join me, Brad Dalius, for The Beat Pod Show.
Sunday at 11 p.m. and Monday at 3 p.m.
Right here on CNBC, KCAA, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
1050 AM. Don't forget that number. And for you young people who got here by accidentally fat-fingering your FM band selector, we're an AM radio station. And AM refers to more than just the time of day.
August 29th at the San Manuel Stadium, Victory Outreach San Bernardino presents One Summer Night. Don't miss out on our old school concert and car show. Performances by Norman Carter, Little Willie G, and Brenton Wood. And a live action drama, I'm Your Puppet. For tickets and more information, visit our website at onesummernight.org.
The Vinyl Life presents I Know You Got Soul, Clash of the Titans, hip-hop veterans versus sweet soul legends. Saturday, August 29th, live performances by Archie Bell, Norman Carter of the legendary Delphonics. Motown's very own Brenda Holloway. Sick jacking of the psycho realm, spinning an all-vinyl soul set. Two-Man, Crazy Race, Percy P, Namek, Bet One, Disciples of the Sick, Rebels to the Grain, Sons of Soul Records, 10-year anniversary. All going down at 333 South Boylston Street, Los Angeles, California. Get your tickets now at flavorus.com. Keyword soul.
Kcaa. Hey people, this is Robert Porter. Welcome to the I Love San Bernardino radio show on station CNBC KCAA 1050 AM, part of the Danny Alcarez and Angel Baby Sunday block. Every Sunday from 4 to 9 p.m., a place where we can all learn together. Now our call-in line here is 1-888-909-1050. City events to remember. November is the election. Please, San Bernardino, please register to vote. For the love of San Bernardino, we need you to vote. That means you have to register first. There's still plenty of time to register, so go take care of that so we can get you a ballot in the mail or get you the polls so we can vote, San Bernardino. San Bernardino needs to vote. Tomorrow we have a city common council meeting over there at City Hall. You don't need to know what's happening.
Everybody needs to come out to that.
Yeah, but you don't need to know to go to these meetings. You go to the meetings so you can find out what's happening. It's not like you go there for a specific reason. You go there because you're a San Bernardinian and you need to go to the meeting. That's what the meetings are for. The main purpose is to see what's going on in the city, not go there to complain, not go there for your own special cause of the day. It's to go there every single meeting. So please, San Bernardino. I know you have work. I know you have things, but we can make it. Let me get through our sponsors real quick, Danny. I know I got off on a tangent there, but it's so important. We need San Bernardino to vote. We really do.
Yes, we do.
San Bernardino, our sponsor for I Love San Bernardino, Green Shack Deli, established 1978, voted best subs in the IE, 163 West Highland Avenue, San Bernardino, California, 92405. If you'd like to call in an order, please call 909-886-3812. I love the Green Shack, and I just ate there last week, Danny, and it was excellent.
Really?
Yes, I did. And also, I'd like to ask everyone to look into re-electing Mr. Mike Gallo for the San Bernardino School Board. He's done a great job leading the way for our San Bernardino youth and has helped raise our graduation rates and test scores locally. Please vote for Mike Gallo, San Bernardino Unified School District. All right, our call-in line is 1-888-909-1050. If you have a message for Mr. Henry Nickel, 5th Ward Councilman of San Bernardino. How you doing there, Mr. Nickel?
I'm doing great. It's a bit of a schwitz outside, but I made it.
Yeah, man, I'm sweating up a storm, but that, back in the day I was known as Porter Pit, so that's how it rolls.
Well, it's a warm one today, but I made it, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
All right. Well, we've had you on before, and it was a little bit more nonchalant that time. This time you're up for re-election.
That's right. I'm up in November as our 4 council members, and then we have 3 at-large city-wide seats that are up as well.
Okay. Could you explain to us why you're up for election when you just started?
Well, I filled a seat that had been vacated by our previous council member, and I won in a special election held in February of 2014. Because we are a charter city, our charter mandates that we elect any replacement city council members. So general law cities typically have the ability to appoint successors, but our city, we require an election. So I was elected in 14, and due to the way the cycles are set up for the council seats, I will be up as well as 3 of my colleagues this November.
And why would there ever be a special election held? What would be a reason? Like someone pass away or? Yeah,
anytime there's a seat that is vacated, depending on when that occurs, the city will call a special election.
So how does it get vacated? Like you can resign?
Through resignation, through obviously a death.
How was that position relinquished?
Well, my predecessor had to resign, so it was a resignation.
Okay, so then everyone knew that it was up for election, and you ran against quite a few candidates.
Correct. There were 5 total candidates in that race, and I think it was a very good race. It was on the tail of it actually coincided with the runoff for the mayoral election, so it turned out that we didn't have to schedule a singular special election. It coincided with the runoff, so we had that election simultaneously. And so, but it means that I'll be up again in November, and then depending on how that goes, then the seat will remain, whoever gets elected will remain in that seat for 4 years.
Well, I have a feeling you're going to be in that seat again.
Well, I don't take it for granted. We have another candidate, Mr. Brian Davison, who's running as well, and I look forward to.
I've met Mr. Davison. Cool cat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a very spirited debate and campaign, and I think it's good for our city when we have people that step up and run for office. I'm all for a very robust election process and looking forward to meeting them and looking forward to some very good debates.
All right. Maybe we might have to have a debate on this show.
I'd be happy to.
All right.
That would be nice, huh?
I think that would be fun. Last time we had a debate, it was a blast.
We don't have no boxing gloves though. Man.
Well,
I was just kidding, man.
We'll keep it clean, Danny. We got to keep it clean.
Okay.
All right. Well, please tell us the current state of our city.
Well, we are moving forward on several different fronts currently with both the bankruptcy, with the wind down of our redevelopment agency. In fact, I met this last week with our staff that is overseeing that process, and it looks like we are quickly moving into submitting a plan to the state that will more or less outline the direction we're going as a city. Okay. And I was given a list of the properties that we are anticipating either selling or retaining for future use or retaining for government use. So there'll probably be a bit more back and forth on that discussion.
Was the Carousel Mall on that list?
Oh, yes. Yeah, Carousel Mall, the San Manuel Stadium, the Regal Theater.
Well, we're kind of in the Carousel Mall, so we want to know about that.
Yeah. We want to know that secret.
Right. Well, that's this property is intended to be used for future redevelopment, future use, and that will require us to work with several other what they call taxing agencies, which include the school district, the county, our water district, and the community college board. So any properties that we retain for future development, we will be working with those other entities and ideally developing some consensus in terms of down the road how we redevelop these particular properties for future use and ideally put them back into a productive mode, generating tax revenue for the city.
So how much time do we have?
Well, we have time in terms of implementing
KCAA.
Well, the
when will they tell us get out of the building?
Well, I don't have those details, and I don't anticipate that will happen anytime soon. We will have by December. That plan will be submitted to the state, and then the state will go through its process of reviewing our plan and determining whether or not there are properties that need to be changed or there's any fine-tuning that needs to occur. But by the end of this year, we'll have something in Sacramento, and then it'll be in their hands to determine the process moving forward.
Cool. Mr. Alcaraz.
Yes. Are we going to knock the Carousel Mall down, or are we going to redo it?
My understanding, I have not seen the actual proposals yet. Those proposals are with our staff. My understanding is we solicited over 80 different developers. It was more or less, it was a nationwide process of obtaining proposals to determine highest and best use for this site. Our economic development staff, our deputy city manager, Mr. Bill Manis, and our city manager, along with several other city staff, reviewed those proposals. They whittled it down to 4, and my understanding is each of those 4 anticipate that this property will be more or less razed. So it will be demolished and something new will be built on this site.
That was my understanding too. I wanted to make that clear. And now we have a decent answer.
Yes,
right?
we got the truth out of him. All right. Now I have another hard question for you. You ready for this one?
That was an easy one, huh?
Well, this one is what are your personal accomplishments so far on the council?
Well, I think one of the big hurdles I saw just as a resident before I even considered running for election was the lack of transparency we had in this city. It was very hard to get the attention and time to meet with our elected representatives. And so one of the first things I did after my election was began organizing. We have community meetings before every council meeting.
Yes, you do.
And they're open to the public. Everybody is invited. We had Jay there. We had Jay there this morning. We get a good cross-section of residents from our city.
In the meetings, you also put them under the gun about the money, and I like that.
Oh, sure. No, everything's on the table. This is to me, this is the way a functional local government democracy, little d democracy, needs to work. You need, as an elected official, I feel it is my obligation to, if not more, listen to my constituents as speak to my constituents. So I really find it's very helpful for me as a decision maker, as a policy maker, to sit down with residents prior to going into our council discussions. We go through the agenda together. Today we had our fire chief, we've had Senator Morrell, we've had Assembly Member Mark Steinorth, we've had any number of staff from the city.
Was Elmo Greenmeds there?
Elmo was there, yeah. We had
Hey,
Elmo there.
come on over. Do you have a question for Mr.
We had
Nickel
Elmo
here?
there this morning.
I think he was the youngest guy there, too.
Just right there in their microphone real quick. Just ask him a question real quick.
So my question, I suppose, is how is regulating medical cannabis I'm trying to remember how you
community
put it.
standards
community
issue.
Standards issue.
Well, I think every community determines, and this is the function of local government. We pass ordinances. Those ordinances, by and large, are a reflection of the intents, the desires, the perspective of the broader community. And so, for instance, these forums, these community meetings, are an opportunity for me as a decision maker, as a representative on the council. I really believe my job is not to dictate what happens in the city. My job is to listen to the residents, to get their perspective on the decisions that are confronting our city council, our city, and give them an opportunity to give me feedback in terms of what they want in this community, in terms of whether it's ordinances, whether it's other decisions we have to make. Right now we're talking about contracting fire. Last year we did have a rather robust discussion about our current prohibition on cannabis and dispensaries in the city.
That got cut rather short.
Yeah, and I think there was some disappointment in regard to how that conversation occurred.
Because I believe a majority of our city actually is the opposite of the way you're reacting.
And that's what I wanted to interject. You said, I attend your meetings on a regular basis, and I noticed that it's pretty much the same group of people that are a small but loud voice in the community.
Which
they don't
important.
They don't represent the majority of the people. And so when they call for a ban or an ordinance to be written and the majority of the people don't get to vote on it, that's not really a community standards issue. That's more like a dictatorship.
Well, I think, you always have this fine balance between majority rule and protecting minorities, and minority interests in any community. And I think that this is a good example of a discussion where there are a broad perspective of viewpoints on this. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, I really see...
This is going to be a hard fine line for you to walk on, bro.
I have my personal viewpoints on this, but that's not really relevant. What's really relevant is...
I think your personal might be on our side.
I'll be honest. If you want my honest opinion, I truly believe at some point within the next decade, there will be some significant changes in terms of both the federal regulations. I do see a groundswell. Clearly, we've seen other states in the United States that have gone to more or less full legalization, including recreational use. We've had, in our own history. In our own history here in this country, I mean, we went through a prohibition era where we more or less prohibited the sale and use of alcohol. It worked for a while, and then of course the costs and
That was a good hot seat.
But things change, and I think as we're seeing in the city, I think we do have a challenge in terms of enforcing this prohibition. It is very costly to enforce, and is it really effective? I mean, these are some of the questions that were raised last year when we had this debate. It was decided more or less in the 11th hour that, based on some assurances that we were getting, that there would be some additional enforcement capabilities provided, that we would continue the prohibition, but that we would come back and revisit it again. And I think it's something that I do know that one of our council members, Mr. Barrios, has specifically requested that we put this back on our legislative review committee.
Thank you, Mr. Barrios.
And so I do anticipate that within the next couple months, we will have another discussion about, to date, what have been the successes. Has it succeeded? Are we seeing any change? If not, well, then what's the next step for our city? Because clearly there, you go to Weed Maps, you can see all the dispensaries that are operating in the city, and clearly San Bernardino has
a lot.
They have a lot, and so we have to ask ourselves.
So there's a market for it.
I got something to say about
not just a market, but is the enforcement working?
I hate to interject, but this is a boss over here.
Okay, did you see the paper where they had a dispensary and they found cocaine?
They found cocaine in a dispensary.
Yes.
Well,
that must have been an illegal one.
How much cocaine did they find, first of all? Because it didn't really elaborate on that. Was it a small personal amount in somebody's pocket, or were they selling all sorts of drugs?
They found guns.
Well, you could walk into any drugstore. You could walk into any liquor store. You could walk into any Stater Brothers, and there's an armed guard.
It turns into an argument.
So to find guns is kind of an irrelevant thing. Yeah. But what we really need is regulations, and this kind of stuff will be addressed.
And those kind of places will not exist if we regulate it properly.
If they're under threat of losing their business license or facing a fine,
they're not going to let felons in there.
Or getting shot because somebody comes in with a gun and tries to rob them.
They're just going to bring more different kinds of drugs in those kinds of stores, is what I believe. That's my opinion.
Yeah, why would they want to? I mean,
clearly we have a situation where this is not going away. No. We will have to continually monitor and potentially revise our approach to addressing this. I think other cities are looking at some regulatory structure to ensure that you don't have this chaotic atmosphere that we're seeing.
Well, because what you're doing, in this situation here, where it obviously appears to be a gang-run shop that was shut down. Not only was there cocaine and guns, but the serial numbers were filed off the guns. So this is what appears to be a gang-run shop. Mm-hmm. But with the ban, you're forcing legitimate patients to go to these gang-run shops. You're not only
putting them in danger.
Yeah, that should be a community standard issue there.
Yeah. Well, and this is the type of discussion that we need to have, not just in the council, but I think community-wide. And so my pushback to some of the dispensary owners has been, look, this isn't so much about persuading me personally. This is about making an argument, a coherent, cogent argument to the people of San Bernardino in terms of, is this prohibition working? Is this something we want? And if not, why not? And I think that that's where the discussion needs to take place. And I do believe that it might be wise, and I know that you're looking at an initiative to go forward to the voters. And I think that's an appropriate course of action. I think anytime you focus just on the council alone, again, the council is just one mechanism of the entire decision-making process that is a city. And really, the core of any city is its people, is its voters, is its residents. And I think once you get them to more or less buy in to whatever approach you believe needs to be taken.
But shouldn't this have been the city's job 20 years ago when cannabis
I can't speak
became...
for 20 years ago. I wasn't on the
That's what they all say.
Okay, so when you...
I'd be sort of ashamed to talk about where I was 20 years ago.
When you decided to become a councilman, shouldn't you have educated yourself about cannabis to the point of.
Well, I do educate myself, but again, this is about our community. I'm a representative. Yes. I'm not a dictator. I am here to represent, and that's why I have my community meetings. Again, it's not perfect. You're absolutely right that there tends to be a certain segment of our public that are probably more vocal than most.
But I liked it a lot.
I think it's very helpful from my perspective because, again, I really believe my job is to be a representative of the people who elected me to this position. And the minute I deviate from that, I believe I forfeit my duties as an elected representative.
I do like your biweekly meetings. They're very informative. I think that
every
council member should be doing the same thing.
Absolutely, they should really be. They should be required by the charter to do that.
What about a licensed pharmacist to regulate it?
I think that's possible too.
I think that's over-regulating.
Why?
Why? Why should I have to go to a pharmacist when I could buy it? When I could grow it? I'm sorry.
We're trying to figure out a way to regulate it.
Right. Well, there's people that look at this on this whole extreme where they're saying if it's medical, it should be, only administered by, physicians and sold by pharmacists. They want it handled in the same way of the same people that lied about this medicine. They didn't call it medicine. They said it was a drug. They put people on pills that destroy their body, and they came up with the synthetic marijuana that makes people go crazy and bite people's faces off and all this, propaganda hype up.
The zombie.
But
the zombie
why
effect.
should this plant be put into the drug company's hands? If at the most it should be considered a nutraceutical sold by GNCs.
Yeah. I don't want to get in that debate.
Health food shops.
I'm not an expert on nutraceuticals or pharmaceuticals or anything else.
You wanted to add some real quick, Jay, because we got to move on here.
Point. The model that we have right now will shut down the legitimate shops that are not gang-related because it's real easy to bust a non-gang-related shop, and they won't go back into business. But when you're organized crime,
they will.
It's so easy to just move right down the
Electric
street.
and 40th. You know what I'm talking about.
And that's the problem is that the cops, it was really easy for San Bernardino Police Department to shut down the legitimate cops who were not gang-related. I mean, it was really easy, and they didn't come back. So what you ended up with is the worst-case model, which is the gangs running the medical marijuana business. And we should have looked into that, and we should have decided this is who we want running these things, some guidelines that didn't create this worst case model.
Well, I think we did good. We hashed out that issue. We're gonna have to move on to the next segment here. But you have one more question, Mr. Alcarez, before we end
Yes.
this?
Did you see the paper where the L.A. The airport is going to Ontario?
Yeah, basically.
Yes, and then San Bernardino is going to be going back and forth to Mexico. They did something like that. What do you think? Is that going to be good for the city?
Well, I think
Mr. Nichols?
The challenge we've had with Ontario is that it was
You know what I'm
controlled
talking
by
about.
the Los Angeles, the Los Angeles airports, and so this is a good thing for the Inland Empire on the whole. I think putting Ontario Airport more or less back under local control is something that will be beneficial to the region.
Mm-hmm.
Now, clearly, in terms of our airport, there are some challenges that we will confront, and whether or not we focus on passenger operations, maintenance, general
jobs.
aviation, corporate aviation. There's a lot of opportunity with our airport, and I'm not going to. I'm not in a position right now to really say what the future holds for our airport, but I think it's a great facility. If anybody hasn't been to our airport, I would recommend that you visit. We have
it's beautiful.
Luxair. We have a beautiful what we call fixed-based operator there. It looks like the Ritz-Carlton when you walk in. It's beautiful, and we do have corporate aviation that does use the airport. I'm actually a pilot. I keep a small airplane plane. I'm looking forward to the completion of the hangars at the airport.
When are you going to fly me over there?
Actually,
what's going on here?
I believe we have something scheduled out at the airport, an air show, I think October 17th, if I'm not mistaken.
Keep me informed.
Me too.
I'm hoping I can get my plane out there. And
I want some pics from up in bird's eye view.
Well, and actually, our airport is one of the best airports in the local area to purchase fuel. We have some of the best fuel prices in the area, so I know a lot of pilots fly into our airport to fuel up.
That actually might be a good show just to talk about being a pilot. I
love flying. I've loved flying since I was a kid, and it's. I remember going to San Bernardino Airport when it was Norton. I saw the SR-71 there.
Yep.
When I first saw it, I remember it did a full-on afterburner, full vertical up in the sky.
Broke the sound barrier.
It disappeared, and I was just, that was one of the highlights of being a kid, was going to that air show.
Well, I'm going to put that on my bucket list now.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, team. Well, I'd like to thank Mr. Nickel for coming on. Hurry up, Mr. Alcarez. We got another segment here.
We went to the $1.885 million workforce development. And Jake can explain it more than me.
Okay, basically what I said was that the county has these issues that the way the county's set up, you got these 3 supervisors in the southwest corner.
Just explain the numbers.
That want big chunks of the business. I mean, things naturally go there because there's so much power on the Board of Supervisors there. And San Bernardino, the city, basically competes with that. That's one reason why we're in the mess we're in. But what I did is let's see. I took some numbers. San Bernardino, the average household income is $34,000. And in 2000.
Wait a second, I don't make that much in my household.
We're talking about the entire household.
Oh, okay. We still don't make them.
Is 34 grand. At the county level, it's approximately 50,000. And in 2007, before the economic downturn, the county average was 60,000. Now at 60,000, when you go from 60,000 to 50,000, that's like 2 months' pay. And when you add the cost of living, 13%, that's like another month out of what you're earning. The big issue is how do we get people to move to San Bernardino? What would we have to do to get them here, to keep them here? And I'm thinking, well, let's see, we got the average cities, the city household level is 34,000.
Could you wrap it up, Jay? Because we have a whole other segment.
The bottom line is that for the city to come up to where the county is on an average, we'd have to increase our income 50%. And if we take the cost of living into effect, then we're looking at literally have to double the income.
It'd be about $68,000
And the issue is, do we need workforce development? We have to have it. We have to have it to bring these numbers up to where people will actually move into this city.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're touching on 2 different things, because one of the frustrations I've had being on the council is you literally only have to walk a couple blocks from City Hall, and you have very high-paid jobs. We have thousands of very well-paid jobs in our city currently, be it with within government. We have county, state, federal agencies because we're the county seat. We have very high-paying jobs in the city. The challenge we have is that the individuals who have those jobs don't live in the city where they work. So it's not that we don't have jobs here. We do. We have quite a good number of jobs, and I think this has been also one of the criticisms I've heard about some of our city employees. But people have the right to live where they want to live. I'm not going to tell them that they need to live here.
No, they don't.
We don't live in that kind of dictatorship. But people have the freedom to live where they want. I think what we need to do as a city, and just like when you pick a restaurant to eat at or a motel to stay at, you base that decision based on a number of factors. Of course, price is one. The quality is another, and we really have to be focused now as a city. I think for too many years we've fought amongst ourselves. We've had a culture of I call it a culture of combat sometimes, that we're always at each other's throats,
Right.
and we often lose sight of the big picture, which
That's
is
true.
we all need to. We're all in this together. We all have a stake in the well-being of this city. And we need to make this a high-quality, desirable place to live so that the people who have those jobs, that are going into San Bernardino every day, collecting a very nice paycheck, aren't taking that paycheck, getting on the freeway, heading down to Rancho, heading to Riverside, heading to Redlands, and spending that money somewhere else.
What about mom and pop stores? We need to bring that back.
Absolutely, and I think once you get that critical mass of people living in the city again that have decent wages, which again we have those salaries here. They're here, but they're going out of the city. They're being paid here, and they're taking that money out. If we can look at ways we begin to attract them back into our city through creating, again, a better, higher quality city. I think bankruptcy, when you're in bankruptcy, city services languish, and so we gotta get through this bankruptcy. We gotta stay focused. I think within the next year, we're going to have a lot of these challenges that we've been confronting for many years, more or less in our rearview mirror, and we're going to start moving down the road towards some better days.
That's a great answer, Mr. Nickel. Now, before we have to. I want to talk forever too, team, but we're gonna have to end this segment, and let you off the hot seat. But please let everybody know how they can find out more information about your candidacy.
Absolutely, and thanks for the invitation.
No problem, brother. No, let them know how to get a hold of you.
Oh yes, if you want, best to reach me at our council office. The number is 909-384-5188, and just ask our staff for me, and they will make sure I get the message, and I promptly return any phone calls I receive from any of our residents and constituents.
Cool.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.